Today I am going to start the book Something Big Has Been Here. It's just a collection of poems, so we'll figure it out. Something big has been here. Something big has been here. What it was I do not know, for I did not see it coming and I did not see it go. But I hope I never meet it. If I do, I'm in a fix, for it left behind its footprints, and their size 956. An early worm got out of bed. An early worm got out of bed and murmured, "I feel mean. I'll put my darkest glasses on, and I'll paint myself bright green. I'll dress up in my wildest wig, the one with purple bangs. I'll also wear a pair of horns and artificial fangs." That early worm perked its head up, which looked a pretty fright. An early bird observed that worm and lost its appetite. I know all the sounds that the animals make. I know all the sounds that the animals make, and make them all day from the moment I wake. I roar like a mouse and I purr like a goose. I hoot like a duck and I moo like a goose. I squeak like a cat and I quack like a frog. I oink like a bear and I honk like a hog. I croak like a cow and I bark like a bee. No wonder the animals marvel at me. Happy birthday, mother dearest. Happy birthday, mother dearest. We made breakfast just for you. A watermelon omelet and a dish of popcorn too. A cup of milk and sugar and a slice of blackened toast. Happy birthday, mother dearest. You're the one we love the most. We're four ferocious tigers. We're four ferocious tigers. At least that's what we seem. Our claws are at the ready. Our sharp incisors gleam. We're quite intimidating. Our stare will make you blink. Our roar will make you shiver. At least that's what we think. We're four ferocious tigers. At least that's what we hear. Our ominous demeanor will chill your atmosphere. And yet you need not fear us. Don't scream and run away. We only eat spaghetti. At least that's what we say. I am growing a glorious garden. I am growing a glorious garden, resplendent with trumpets and flutes. I am pruning euphonium bushes. I am watering piccolo shoots. My tubas and tambourines flourish, surrounded by saxophone reeds. I am planting trombones and pianos, and sowing sousaphone seeds. I have cymbals galore in my garden, said staid oboes in orderly rows. There are flowering fiffles and violas in the glade where the glockenspiel grows. There are gongs and guitars in abundance. There are violins high on the vine, and an arbor of harps by the bower where the cellos and clarinets twine. My bassoons are beginning to blossom as my zithers and mandolins bloom. My castanets happily chatter, my kettle drums merrily boom. The banjos that branch by the bugles play counterpoint with a kazoo. Come visit my glorious garden and hear it play music for you. You can obviously tell I was not in band. Oh. As soon as Fred gets out of bed, his underwear goes on his head. His mother laughs, "Don't put it there. A head's no place for underwear." But near his ears, above his brain, is where Fred's underwear remains. At night when Fred goes to bed, he deftly plucks it off his head. His mother switches off the light and croons, "Good night, good night." And then, for reasons no one knows, Fred's underwear goes on his toes. Belinda Blue. Belinda Blue was furious. She fumed. "I'm really mad. This is the worst experience I've ever had." She beat her fist against the wall. She pounded on the floor. "I am livid," she exploded. "I am bilious to the core." She wrung her hands. She tore her hair. Her tantrum grew and grew. "I am angry, angry, angry," shrieked enraged Belinda Blue. She seemed to be beside herself. She paced around the room. She roared so loud the neighbors thought they'd heard a sonic boom. Her rage was unabated. She appeared it appeared she'd never quit. In fact, she seemed to savor every second of her fit. Belinda Blue created such an overwhelming scene because at lunch her mother said, "Please eat just one green bean." I would do the same thing. I do not blame Belinda Blue. The turkey shot out of the oven. The turkey shot out of the oven and rocketed into the air. It knocked every plate off the table and partly demolished a chair. It ricocheted into a corner and burst with a deafening boom, then splattered all over the kitchen, completely obscuring the room. It stuck to the walls and the windows. It totally coated the floor. There was turkey attached to the ceiling, where there'd never been turkey before. It blanketed every appliance. It smeared every saucer and bowl. There was no way I could stop it. That turkey was out of control. I scraped and I scrubbed with displeasure, and thought was charging as I mopped that I'd never again stuff a turkey with popcorn that hadn't been popped. I am Wonk. I am Wonk, a wacky wizard, and I wield a willow wand. I wave it once, and there you swim, a minnow in a pond. I wave it twice, and there you sit, a lizard on a log. I wave it thrice, and there you fly, a fly before a frog. I am Wonk, a wily wizard, and I hold a crystal sphere. I spin it with my fingers. You've got a carrot in your ear. I roll it on the table. You've an anvil on your head. I place it on your pillow. You've a lion in your bed. I am Wonk, a wondrous wizard, and I wear a woolen hat. I take it off and fold it. You are smaller than a cat. I put it in my pocket. You are smaller than a mouse. Do be quick, your doorbell's ringing. I am Wonk, outside your house. Dense and dumb, with pomp and flair, planted light bulbs in his hair. Now, however dark the night, dense and dumb is always bright. You're eating like a pig again. You're eating like a pig again, my mother scolded me. If you keep eating like a pig is what you'll be. I simply cannot fathom what all the fuss is about, and haven't I a lovely tail, and see my splendid snout. I am tired of being little. I am sick of being thin. I wish that I were giant-sized with whiskers on my chin. No one would dare to tease me or to take away my toys, for I would be much bigger than the biggest bigger boys. My folks would pay attention to everything I said. They couldn't make me eat my peas or tell me go to bed. I'd never be afraid again if I were 10'3". I wish that I were giant-sized instead of small like me. You're nasty and you're loud. You're nasty and you're loud. You're mean enough for two. If I could be a cloud, I'd rain all day on you. They tell me I'm peculiar. They tell me I'm peculiar. They seem to think I'm odd. They look at me and grimace. I smile at them and nod. They cringe at my behavior. Unthinkable, they say. They're shocked that I love liver and eat it every day. I should have stayed in bed today. In bed's where I belong. As soon as I got up today, things started going wrong. I got a splinter in my foot. My puppy made me fall. I squirted toothpaste in my ear. I crashed into the wall. I knocked my homework off the desk. It landed on my toes. I spilled a glass of chocolate milk. It's soaking through my clothes. I accidentally bit my tongue. That really made me moan. And it was far from funny when I banged my funny bone. I scraped my knees, I bumped my nose, I sat upon a pin. I leapt up with alacrity and sharply barked my shin. I stuck a finger in my eye, the pain is quite severe. I'd better get right back to bed and stay there for a year. Whoever wrote that was not having a very good day. Kevin, the King of the Jungle. I'm Kevin, the King of the Jungle. I live at the top of a tree. Although I behave like a monkey, no lion is braver than me. I swing through the air with abandon, laughing a simian laugh. I'm strong as my Uncle Gorilla. I'm as swift as my cousin Giraffe. I wrestle with dozens of gibbons. I win, but they don't seem to mind. I race with the with gazelles and impalas and frequently leave them behind. Hyenas and rhinos obey me. Great elephants do what I say. And when I jump into the river, fierce crocodiles hurry away. I'm Kevin, the king of the jungle. I'm agile, I'm crafty, I'm bold. Green leaves are my only apparel, and yet I have never caught a cold. My stepmother was a chimpanzee, my stepfather was a baboon, and that's why I eat with my fingers instead of a fork or a spoon. If I see a hippo look hungry, I share a few edible roots. When zebras or ostriches quarrel, I settle their family disputes. I'm Kevin, the king of the jungle, the lord of the leopard and gnu. Feel free to drop by my dominion. I'll peel a banana for you. Little bird outside my window. Little bird outside my window, I can hear you in my room, as you gaily serenade me and eradicate the gloom. Your chirping is the sweetest that my ears have ever heard. It awakens me each morning. Zip your beak up, little bird. Unhappy South Pole Penguin. Unhappy South Pole Penguin, you are in a nasty mood, as you try to chew your dinner which refuses to be chewed. But a simple undertaking will improve your attitude. You must first defrost your dinner for your dinner's frozen food. Watson Watts. Watson Watts atop his head balanced 40 loaves of bread. 40 loaves, no less, no more. Not one crumb fell to the floor. On his shoulder, Watson Watts balanced 40 flower pots. 40 pots, no more, no less, yet he met with great success. Watson balanced on his knees 40 chunks of cheddar cheese. 40 chunks, no less, no more, just like loaves and pots before. Watson Watts upon his legs balanced 40 ostrich eggs. 40 eggs, no more, no less. It took months to clean up the mess. Hello, how are you? I am fine. Hello, how are you? I am fine, is all my dog will say. He's probably repeated it 1,000 times today. He doesn't bark his normal bark. He doesn't even whine. He only drones the same, hello, how are you? I am fine. Hello, how are you? I am fine. His message doesn't change. It's gotten quite monotonous and just a trifle strange. Hello, how are you? I am fine. It makes the neighbors stare. They're unaware that yesterday he ate my talking bear. Life's not been the same in my family. Life's not been the same in my family since the day the new baby came. My parents completely ignore me. They scarcely remember my name. The baby gets all their attention. Oh, isn't she precious, they croon. They think that she looks like an angel. I think she resembles a prune. They're thrilled when she giggles or gurgles. She burped, they exclaim with delight. They don't even mind when she wakes us with deafening screams in the night. They seem to believe she's a treasure. There's simply no way I agree. I wish she'd stop being a baby and start being older than me. I met a rat of culture who was elegantly dressed in a pair of velvet trousers and a silver button vest. He related ancient proverbs and recited poetry. He spoke a dozen languages, 11 more than me. That rat was perspicacious and had cognate things to say on bionics, economics, hydrophonics, and ballet. He instructed me in sculpture. He shed light on keeping bees. Then he painted an acrylic of an abstract view of cheese. He had circled the equator, he had visited the poles. He extolled the art of sailing while he baked assorted rolls. He wove a woolen carpet, and he shaped a porcelain pot. Then he sang an operetta while he danced a slow gavotte. He was versed in jet propulsion, in authority on trains. All of botany and baseball were contained within his brains. He knew chemistry and physics. He had taught himself to sew. To my knowledge, there was nothing that the rodent did not know. He was vastly more accomplished than the billions of his kin. He performed a brief sonata on a tiny violin, but he squealed and promptly vanished at the entrance of my cat, for despite his duration, he was nothing but a rat. Do not disturb the woolly warraby. Do not disturb the woolly warraby that scarcely seems to stir, but sits upon the corner curb and combs his curly fur. There's nowhere it cares to go. It calmly stays in place, and grooms itself from head to toe, contentment on its face. To park upon that paving stone is all it wants to do, and if you leave the warby alone, it will not bother you. My neighbor's dog is purple. My neighbor's dog is purple, its eyes are large and green. Its tail is almost endless, the longest I have seen. My neighbor's dog is quiet, it does not bark one bit, but when my neighbor's dog is near, I feel afraid of it. My neighbor's dog looks nasty, it has a wicked smile. Before my neighbor painted it, it was a crocodile.